Afternoon, everybody. The Garden's looking a picture, filling up fast in these final minutes. The playoffs realistically out of reach for Saints, but they've hit some form, which makes it interesting on a couple of counts. Firstly, that momentum that they need ahead of Dublin next weekend. And secondly, of course, they're going to have a big bearing on who does make the top four. So, to the sides, and the Saints have been trying to focus minds this week. Phil Dowson at pains to point out this is not just a training run ahead of Leinster. They want to bottle some momentum, make the most of their form. Now 3 wins in a row and their first away win in the league all season. That said, it's a first-choice team pretty much that needs competition and match sharpness, having mostly been rested in Newcastle. A wholly changed starting pack. Augustus at 8, Pollock on the open side, the England halfbacks, and Fraser Dingwall back at centre to captain the side, and James Ram returning at full-back from injury. The Bears will pay tribute to Stephen Luatua today. He recently signed a new contract today, marking his 150th appearance for the club. Santi Grondona back in action at flanker, meaning Fitzharding switches to number 8. No Batley or Dunn through injury. So Caulfield and Owen at lock, and Harry Thacker reclaiming that starting hooker's shirt. The back line unchanged from a week ago. Diego Bailey giving another go on the right wing. Rich Lane happily recovered from the bang that he took against Leicester. And look out later on perhaps for Jimmy Williams and Siva Naulango, both included on the Bristol bench. Head-to-heads flats.
The 2-7s fascinate me. Santi Grondona is gritty, he's industrious, he's hard-nosed, he loves the heavy work. Henry Pollock, we know about Henry Pollock, outstanding young talent, all panache, flair, confidence, strut, swagger. Santi Grondona, I would imagine, has spent most of this week thinking about how to shut Pollock down. Let's see if he can manage it.
That's the wingers for me, Ali. It's Freeman against Ibitoye. They might be wearing the same number, but they'll be matched up against one another. Freeman, 14 tries in his last 14 games. He is white hot, a certainty to go in the British and Irish Lions store. Even when Northampton Saints haven't been great, he has been. And Ibitoye just back from injury, and he'll have some test aspirations of his own. If he can eradicate the odd error that's cost his team, there's no doubt the test arena will be his sometime soon.
So into the inner sanctum. Saints, as we have been mentioning, realistically out of the hunt for the playoffs. Not yet 100% mathematically, but in all reality that is the case. And a moment for one of the great stalwarts of both the club and the international game, Stephen Luatua, 150th appearance for the Bristol Bears. He's just been awarded a new contract. The former All Black, still one of the very best in the league, David. He is week in, week out, very high class.
High class is exactly what I was going to say out. Took the words out of my mouth. Pretty much, he makes mistakes, but not many. One every few weeks. Big engine, big man, lots of power, huge skill. Looks very, very relaxed, but does a lot of damage. He is a top of the range player.
Well, they need him today for sure. Bristol in a funny place, if we're honest. Look at the steely determination etched across Ellis Genge's face. They are not in the most comfortable of places, it must be said, as they look towards the playoffs. They've been in the top 2 since round 6, and now they dropped to 3rd. Looked sloppy last weekend, well beaten by the Tigers at Ashton Gate. Ripped apart by Gloucester the week before as well, and with a tough run in. So it feels critical for them today. And for this lot, really, in the cold light of day, a tune-up for the seismic Champions Cup semi-final against Leinster at the Aviva next weekend. But as ever, at home in front of a packed crowd on Foundation Day, Saints Foundation Day, the day they celebrate all the excellent work that the Saints Foundation does. They will want to perform. Phil Dowson desperate to win, to climb the Premiership table closer to where they feel they belong as defending champions, remember. And they've hit some form. It just seems to have taken the most of the season to find it.
Yeah, it has. And the timing is important, obviously, with the European semi-final next week, and that young man, Finn Smith, he'd be looking to put in another big performance. I'm sure Andy Farrell has probably got his Lion squad all picked at this stage. Whether he's in it or not, we're not entirely sure. We'll find out on the 8th of May, but irrespective, he'll want to continue his decent reign of form, or vein of form, I should say, from his England days through to now, post Six Nations, and playing well in the black and green of Northampton Saints. He'll be important to carry them forward today and just guide them around Franklin's Gardens. They're very, very good here, and largely down to his leadership.
Here we go then. Bristol playing from left to right, underway through AJ McGinty, and immediately on the ball, Tom Litchfield of Northampton Saints. First carry for Pollock on that 22-metre line.
He's holding it there. He's holding it there, though.
Mitchell burrowing in there has been so important to them in these last few weeks, and of course his absence early season cost them quite a bit. Litchfield with the tap back, and Coles drops on it.
That was a clean catch for him. He didn't need to bat it because there was no Bristol player anywhere near that box kick. Bailey had gotten his distance all wrong.
Finn Smith from inside the 22 looking for some distance. Rich Lane, who hobbled off last week in Ashton Gate. He looked to be in a good deal of pain, but he's shaken off whatever it was that was troubling him there. And McGinty sizing up the Saints 22. Mitchell covering nicely and affecting an excellent clearance.
Just thought that the absence of anyone from the Bristol team getting up for that ball, I think, took everyone by surprise. The kick seemingly took Bristol by surprise. But how often is someone in that much space Tricko under a high ball? Are Bristol in the right place, you wonder?
Bailey must have been all of 50 metres back. No box kick going to travel that far.
Randall to McGinty. A little blast here from Diego Bailey on the right wing for the Bears today. Randall pops it up for Fitzharding, who's wearing 8 today, and it's his birthday as well, 26 today, Fitzharding. Mitchell once more on tidying duty inside the 22. Bailey manages it effectively, searching for an opening, held by Coles and driven to the ground. Randall, they've got some numbers here, Bristol, if they can work it, and there's a hole. Grondona for Ibitoye. This is where they can be so dangerous when those offloads do stick, flooding in and around the channels close to the ruck. Here's Lahif for Bristol. Harding carries hard into Miller Mills, who was a late starter at tight head for Northampton, with Trevor Davison ruled out. And a clever kick just inside the Saints 22. Was that from inside their own half?
I think it was passed back. Just a little check from TMO, who was taken back in all right. Lovely little left foot nudge from AJ McGinty. Totally confident on either foot. And actually, he would have liked that one to have sat up another bounce.
Long from the line out. Pollock was absolutely flattened, and he's having a little word with Santi Grondona as well off the back of it.
Hey, there's your head-to-head, lads.
I thought it was 2 players going up for it. Thanks, lads. We've got a knock on.
Nick suddenly found himself exposed at the tail of the line out on account of the long throw.
Tell you what, it was loose at the back, wasn't it? Really loose at the back of the line out.
Thanks, Matthew.
From Saints, the idea was there. Dingwall got whacked, didn't he?
He was in the air. He was in the air. That's what you want from your back rower, even a 20-year-old or 21-year-old to stand up for you, even though Dingwall's well able to look after himself.
Crouch!
Great attacking position for Bristol. We know the attacking brilliance they have at their disposal. The problem has been it's too often been accompanied by some shocking defence, and
that's all right. We'll go again.
if they don't make the top 4, it'll be very clear why.
Thank you.
But last week their attack didn't work, did it? I mean, the defence wasn't there. Hence the points, the amount of points they conceded, but their attack was loose in the extreme.
Just looking at the setup of the scrum, if we do get a square scrum and Randall gets the ball away, A.J. McGinty is sat in behind, and when you've got two big ball-carrying centres like Janci van Rensburg and Ravovo, you have to respect them, and that's when the ball out the back to McGinty slipping in behind, and that little loop play played dividends if it does come to this right-hand side.
Advantage, loose head, elbow to floor.
Well, they've got a penalty from the scrum here, Bristol. And Randall's going to play to the shorter side. Brings in McGinty. And the ball is there now for Harding. Tackle made by Augustus. Thacker restored to that starting hooker's jersey. Ibitoye got it away nicely. McGinty to Lane. Space for Bailey. Hutchinson on the chase. Bailey's in. Bristol strike first at the Gardens, as they surely needed to here. This contest so critical in the general complexion of their campaign. And Diego Bailey running it in for Bristol's first.
Really slick ball handling, just quick catch pass transfer. Lane is the one that throws the difficult one under pressure to a wide Bailey, but no problem at all. And then it's just a foot race in, but it was Ibitoye that stood in as first receiver. You don't see him in being the playmaker very often, but as a result he got A.J. McGinty out in that difficult second distributor position, and that's where he got that quick flick on to Lane, and then lovely hands again out to Bailey. Really well constructed try from Bristol Bears.
Not quite the bend on it, but 5-0, and Diego Bailey with his first Premiership try.
Just wondering here, Dricko, whoever it is that shoots in here, Indy, and puts this shot in. Just wonder if they came in too early, if they needed to, if Litchfield needed to hit in, then if he should have been more passive.
Yeah, they were in good shape. And cardinal rule is you're going to read in like that, you got to make the hit.
Here's Augustus gathering it from the bounce on the restart. Harding goes over the top of it, reclaims it for Bristol, and Randall lets fly and sets off in hot pursuit as well. Ram in something of a hurry. And across comes Freeman, but Ravovo's chased well. Sharp footwork from Freeman. What more would we expect from him?
Tackle, let go, Bristol.
Done a really important job there, Freeman, hasn't he? He's raced back and got there. Actually, not quite sure how he wriggled out of that, because he's about 6'4" and 17 stone, but wriggle he did.
There's Lane. He's evaded the tackle of Pollock, and he's done very well to link with McGinty. And away they go, flying down that left flank through Ravovo. 2 in 2 minutes for the Bristol Bears. Boos ringing around Franklin's Gardens. Suggestion of a forward pass?
We'll get a little look now, but this is about A.J. McGinty following up on Lane's break. He's the one that adds the extra number, evades the tackle. I think that's good.
I wonder about the first one from Lane to McGinty, I wonder.
That's the one, I think. If there is one under the spotlight, it would be this one here. Not the angle that's going to make it clear for us. But this man in lethal form at the moment. That is his 10th in the Premiership, and he moves clear at the top of the charts. That's clearly forwards, is it not?
Yeah. There's an argument for sure.
Let me show you the forward pass.
Here we go.
We're looking at the first pass from McGinty, the short pass.
Okay, so you're going to show me a clear forward pass, Matthew.
Did so well, Lane, but the way his body was positioned, it kind of simply had to come out forwards in that way.
Is that on the 10-metre line just down here, yeah? Okay, mate, back to me whenever you're ready.
Probably just, but...
Well, the majority of the people inside the stadium here are happy at that decision. Galavati Ravovo not quite so much, but I tell you what, Saints have been served notice here this afternoon.
They have, and McGinty looks sharp, doesn't he? He looks pivotal at least, very keen to get involved. I sort of think with the TMO stepping in like that, it's almost when you know what the decision is going to be as soon as you see it. I wonder if the ref really needs to take 30 seconds or a minute to go and watch it. You just say, no, it's forward, taken back. Gives everyone a nice breather, I suppose.
Just a little snapshot over the last few minutes of the kind of irresistible rugby that Bristol can end up playing when the wind's behind them. They're feeling it in their bones. They've scored 154 points in 23 tries in the last 4 Premiership games.
Harry Randall defending in the 10 position here. Their mechanism slightly different, allows them to be a little bit more aggressive as a result, but keep 3 in the backfield.
Fumble from Freeman, allowing for the ball to work its way wide to Bailey. And he's heading back into the traffic and then finding a hole. Brought down well by Mitchell. Gets up and goes again. Randall, quick ball, Ibitoye, change of plan. Ball in one hand, watch very carefully. And Kemeny, together with Litchfield, ends that little excursion.
Back here if you want it. Seven's clearly off his feet, 2 hands, and he's crawling through the breakdown.
It's a decision that's gone against Santi Grondona.
Always dangerous, isn't it, when Ibitoye gets hold of it, but when Diego Bailey gets it, you saw it coming a mile off. Didn't lose any pace as he went left to right. And over the top, yeah, Grondona just doesn't give anyone a chance, doesn't support his body weight, doesn't give anyone a chance to nick it. Good call.
Langdon to Coles, Augustus to Mitchell. Oh, the show and go! Scintillating stuff! Alex Mitchell carving it up.
He's on the plane, mate. Get him off. Get him off. He's on the plane. Wrap him in cotton wool. That's mega, that. That's the last couple of weeks we've seen George Ford, haven't we, for Sale Sharks at first receiver, taking that ball on the overs, ducking back in with an inside option, holding defenders' attention. This time it's Alex Mitchell playing effectively at fly half, stitches up Santi Grondona, an absolute treat. And he's got the footwork, the pace to finish. That is class.
It's actually the perfect launch play. The line out was absolutely spot on. Augustus throws a delicious pass out to Mitchell and used the inside runner as a foil, and then he still has the footwork and the acceleration, even on the arc, as we saw with Aaron Reid yesterday. He didn't lose a stride of pace to canter in. Absolutely beautiful individual score, but constructed brilliantly by his pack and set up very, very nicely to give him the platform to go and do it.
And that seems to be the key, Brian, doesn't it? When you're moving at that pace and then you shift laterally, but you don't lose any speed.
And it's a difficult thing to do. Some people are big on their footwork, but some people have that capacity just to arc run, and it's such a difficult thing to tackle someone when they've got such a head of pace up, to be able to get a good shot to slow them down.
Don't compete, please, leave it. Thank you, it's there. Shuts under your own man as well.
Saints back in front off the back of the conversion from Finn Smith as well. And Mitchell clears, he wanted more distance on that. Only 4 Premiership starts this season for Alex Mitchell, injured of course with the neck problem in early season, which was at least in part an explanation for their patchy form. Here he is again, this time getting a full-on connection over the head of Bailey, who chases back well.
He's not for kicking, is he? He doesn't even attempt to show the defence coming on that he's going to nudge it.
Popped over the top by Ibitoye, Lane to Harding, beyond the 10-metre line. Caulfield's Gensch, met well by Langdon.
He was met well, but he made a good 3 or 4 metres after contact then. Good carry.
Randall wanting more territory, not quite the angle he wanted. Ram across.
I think it's just inside way, no?
It's big from James Ram, tricky bounce. And Randall flings it in field. Ibitoye looking for the spiral. Hasn't quite caught it clean, but Mitchell's underneath it. And the battle of this middle third is firmly underway via the boot.
Always inside, lads.
And McGinty looking to get a decent contact on it. Instead, he's found Litchfield, who stutters into contact. Luatua with the tackle. Liana Vanua, Finn Smith, Langdon running a really good line. Mitchell again, causing havoc. Kemeny on his shoulder. Quick ball from Mitchell. Hutchinson languid and loose and flinging it wide.
Oh, it's a brilliant turnover. Brilliant turnover.
Brilliant.
It's AJ McGinty, I thought it was. He gets in there, wins a shoulder and manages to ride the challenge incredibly well. An important turnover as well, because Northampton Saints had made huge inroads. We saw Freedom over the opposite wing carrying the ball. Really nice interplay between forwards and backs. But an important interlude from AJ McGinty. He's had a couple of big moments in this game already. And it's the speed of the ruck ball. They haven't had a chance to set the defence. Really nice from Hutchinson, who makes the secondary hit. And then I think enough of a release, all right, get in. And not only does he lock on, but he turns it over.
It's strong that from your playmaker, isn't it?
Fantastic and essential, of course, for the Bears at that moment in time. Here is Bernhard Janse van Rensburg. Pollock looking to affect the turnover, but no clear release shown to Adam Leal.
He was very, very close to that, Henry Pollock, and actually,
you got the penalty. I didn't see any clear head shot.
With the great benefit of hindsight, he actually had time then. He could have shown a release.
Let's keep it going, lads. Ball, please. AJ, the mark's here. Okay, no worries. Well, we only saw you at this.
Oh dear. It's a ropey old kick, and Mitchell once more is onto it for Northampton. Bailey.
That's outside, boys.
McGinty inside him. And Bailey's attacking, but he's been very well held. And Pollock and Mayana Vanua are all over him. And he's done well to get to ground and turn. Thacker, McGinty, Van Rensburg, and it evades the hands of Joe Owen.
Yeah, but nearly. Yeah, but nearly. It was a great shot from Pollock in the midfield, but actually Saints were a bit short on the left then, on the edge.
Here's that questionable big hit. Jeez, there's nothing in that from Janse van Rensburg. It was that seat belt tackle of, if anything, certainly no head-to-head contact. He got one in the mouth. Maybe that's what he was complaining about.
I mean, Pollock got off the floor and made the tackle to nick that. I mean, I know he didn't put his hands up in the air, jazz hands to show the release, but pretty marginal that. Here we go, Al. Nice little close-up.
Come on, then.
That's what we want. Get out of the way, Mitchell. Chuck the ball in crooked and get out of the way, mate, so you can see the big boys go at it.
A chance maybe for Ellis Gedge to have a bit of a crack at Elliot Miller-Mills, who perhaps wasn't expecting to play quite such a significant role this afternoon, but we're not going to get that far just yet. This is Ram being thrown to the ground. Mitchell finding Coles. Mayana Vanua. Snared by Owen. Mitchell again.
So this will be taken back in.
Come off a deflection, and
Bristol,
McGinty
13
sends it downtown.
Thank you.
Litchfield. Eogan. Quite everybody on the same page just yet for Northampton. Finsmith. Just buying himself a little bit of space, and guess who's racing onto this? It's Pollock, combining beautifully. Finsmith's away, Pollock still with him. Oh, has that gone forwards? Pollock still onto it, tries to get the offload away, and Langdon drops over the line. A little bit to unpack.
How nice was that? Yes, from Henry Pollock, but from Finsmith. What a lovely little idea.
It's worth checking it, but on field, I believe he's got the ball under control. Bristol have deliberately batted the ball backwards out his hand. He picked up and scored.
Okay.
So check it, but on field try.
Okay, so we'll check it. Also, we just want to, we'll get Matthew to run it from the start of the kick to make sure he's onside, and then the second pass makes it not.
He is onside, Adam. He is onside.
Good stuff. So Matthew, on-field decision try. We're just checking for a potential knock-on and a potential, the second to last pass from the midfield out of the hands that went to floor. Just in case that went clearly forward.
Yeah, no problem. On-field decision try, just checking for a knock-on in the lead-up.
They're certainly happy with the first Finsmith spillage. Felt that went backwards. That one.
The question is, was that batted back?
Well, I think Josh Caulfield actually hits Pollock's arm, not the ball. This one I think is all right. Or is it? Hey, maybe it's not.
No, I
think they hit the arm here.
There,
maybe and the ball.
Okay.
Matthew
So
Carley, our
the first one, it
TMO.
doesn't clearly travel forward. So we're just looking at the second one to make sure it is batted back by Bristol.
I think it's Randall that gets his hand in here. Look at that. He slaps the ball, and just that motion, he just displaces the ball out of the grip of Finn Smith just as he's getting himself ready for that offload.
Josh Caulfield has knocked that ball backwards out of Pollock's hand, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Needs to rock and roll that
Okay,
because...
no, it's okay, I have a decision.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's any clear evidence to say that Northampton have knocked on or thrown the ball forwards at any point, so you can stick with your on-field decision.
So tries good. Thank you.
Try for Langdon. After much deliberation, some wonderful skill and interplay between Finn Smith and Henry Pollock along the way.
Yeah, I think what really helps Finn Smith is his momentum going forward. Even though when he spills the ball, the action might actually, the ball may move forward, but he's catapulted forward so much in the collision that the difference between where the ball is and where he ends up looks as though it may have travelled backwards. It'll remain questionable. It depends on which side you're on. That call could go 50-50.
Brilliant from Finn Smith, just brilliant from Finn Smith. Bristol had actually defended them via one kick and a decent chase and some great defence. They'd defended them. They'd knocked Northampton back and back and back about 40 yards. Northampton forced to kick twice. The second kick, Finn Smith came up with that. Well played. I think it's the right call on the try too. It's got to be clear and obviously forward, and I think unless you're a Bristol Bears fan, you can't claim that for clear and obvious.
Oh, what a kick. What a kick that is. Bailey misjudged it. Came forwards just too much. And that is a 50-22 from Alex Mitchell. Well, really, it's a 22-22.
That is one of the best clearance kicks you will see. Now, Bailey will not want to see it again because he's got to take that on the full, but that is all of 70 yards down the field.
Pollock with line-out ball, and into the line comes Fraser Dingwall, captain this afternoon of the Northampton Saints. Here's Hutchinson, playing in his preferred position in the centres rather than at full-back like last week. A late decision prompted by James Ram's injury. Coles, Saints building nicely inside the 22. Finn Smith steps off his right, carves back to within side of the try line. Mitchell fizzing, Coles. Mitchell still has it, waiting for those runners. Miller Mills is the first of them. Eogan stopped just shy of the line. Langdon, head down, still short. Smith, and in behind the runners, and it might just fall here. Very well tidied in the end, and a whole pile of pressure coming on. Northampton well back behind the 22. Litchfield.
No, you're both off feet now. Yeah, but your man's in the way as well.
Kemeny. Smith. Dingwall frees the arms up. Mitchell again for Langdon on that short line, wrestling his way to the 22-metre line. Smith goes wide and taken on the bounce very effectively by Litchfield. Miller Mills bustling forwards to the short side again. Another dummy from Mitchell. Just massaging that defence quite beautifully at the moment, isn't he?
The speed of the ruck ball as well. It's getting increasingly quicker, and it's more difficult for Bristol to reset their defensive line.
Tackle, let go.
Hutchinson, Finn Smith lying in wait in behind. Ram draws the man and sends Freeman screaming in. Very clinical from Northampton. Patient and clinical.
And Tommy Freeman, that's what, 15 in 15? He's on a decent run, isn't he? The England, surely the future Lions winger. In the end, it looks relatively simple. Lovely from Hutchinson, really good ball from Smith. This pass has to be on the money. Quite often we see those fluffed. It was decent. Bristol narrowed up. It's the speed, as you said, Drico, it's the speed of that ruck ball. You're constantly on the back foot. You're constantly diving at tackles. You can't get off the line. Line speed disappears. Bristol need to find a way to slow Northampton down at the breakdown, or they're going to get shredded by Mitchell and Freeman.
Not so much. 19 points to 5 though, with 23.5 minutes gone. Let's have a word with James Craig, part of the Saints coaching setup. James, you had to weather a bit of a storm early on. Looked like Revovo got 2 for Bristol before you got off the mark, but what a response.
Yeah, we've clearly looked after the ball much better in the last kind of 10 minutes or so. Yeah, I mean, we turned the ball over probably our first 2 possessions within kind of 2-3 phases, which against this Bristol side, you do that, you're going to be defending for long periods, and clearly they're a very good attacking side. So I think the main difference in the last 10 has been that we've looked after the ball miles better and dealt with that breakdown heat that they're bringing.
Super quick, fast and furious, as we would expect from these 2 sides. It's going to be a real test of fitness, isn't it?
Yeah, yes. I mean, we want the game to be played quickly. Probably a little bit too loose for Rand as he's liking at the moment, but yeah, we want to play the game fast. Clearly both sides do, so it should be an exciting game. We just don't want that, with that speed, we don't want to get too loose, which we're probably guilty of a little bit at the start of the game there, but boys have done well to kind of adjust to that and tighten it up back end of this half.
Lovely, James, thanks so much for your time.
Cheers.
Ball there to be won, and Bristol thought they had it. Well, it's been picked up from an offside position, so Saints have the penalty taken quickly by Kemeny, and they want to put some width on this. Hutchinson again bringing in Freeman, the man of the moment, drives it onwards. Revovo's onto it, but once again Bristol camped on their own try line.
Still in. Okay, use it, Bristol. Start.
Randall, charge down.
Just
from an offside position this time, Pollock.
Well, he took a step early, didn't he, and then got himself kind of back to where he started, but I think once you've taken that early step, you've just got to leave it.
We're in the middle of a penalty at the moment. Give me a second. We're just in the middle of a penalty. Let me talk to that.
They're not messing around, are they, Saints? No. Kemeny, you know, if Mitchell's not there to take the quick tap, I'll do the job. It's about playing fast and to the edge, making sure they're stressing Bristol at all times. There's no opportunity to take a break. Just as they're trying to get themselves organised, and then it's the quality of passing. Look at that one, whip from Hutchinson. And for once he is matched at Freeman on the pace front. But a lovely little nudge. Not quite the regather, but pressure again.
Stacker measuring things up. And up goes Joe Owen. No Joe Batley or James Dunn available to Bristol. They've had 1 or 2 problems in the second row with injuries this season.
All 5s all the way through the middle, no issue.
The drive was a strong one, but it looks as if Saints have done a good job slowing things up. Rich Lane. Bailey taking on Litchfield. And then running into trouble when Fraser Dingwall arrives as Revovo. McGinty off Joe Owen, thumped downwards by Kemeny, and these bangs right on the gain line are causing some difficulty for Bristol. Laheath, Van Rensburg floats it over the top for Thacker. Good acceleration from Thacker, and the ball has gone forwards as he hit the deck.
That pass from Jans van Rensburg was lovely, wasn't it? Gorgeous, that. Harry Thacker nearly did brilliantly with it. He's very quick, an extra yard would have helped. Big shot here from Dingwall. Did the job, that, didn't it?
Right, lads, let's go.
Defender he is, and
number 8
Taku,
down, time off.
who knows where the try line is in this fixture, has scored, I think he might have scored 6.
Yeah, sure. What was all we want? Time over there when I got the ball. Well,
Exactly.
That's some shot though, isn't it? Dingwall, he's tough as old boots.
Yeah. And it's funny, Sam Bestie said to me once, I think I'm quoting him, he said he's not the biggest, he's not the quickest, but he might be the best. And he's actually big enough, quick enough and brilliant enough. Very, very tough bloke.
Seems to have cemented himself in that England midfield now as well, at least for the time being.
Yeah, there was certainly one or two conversations during the Six Nations, just when he emerged, would he be someone that might fit into a Lions selection of some sort? Maybe not a test player, but a midweek guy. Tuipulotu's out injured. Obviously, Bundyaki is still very much a man in form, but could Fraser Dingwall be a guy to just shore up that midweek team? You could do worse than him.
Well, he's one of those. He's one of those probably 20 or 30 guys you could pick on the tour. And if you could pick him on the tour and he'd do a brilliant job. But there's going to be a lot of those guys that don't go. Good tackle from Mitchell and Harry Thacker, wasn't it? Important tackle that. Otherwise, it was a 2-on-1.
Kind of everywhere today. Alex Mitchell here. They've got a free kick from the scrum. Seeing those big players step up. The back end of the season, Finn Smith, Fraser Dingwall, Alex Mitchell. Here's Thacker for Bristol. That's gone forward, so Northampton will have the put in from the scrum.
It's actually initially brilliant from Harry Thacker because he waits for he anticipates the Tommy Freeman tap back, takes it and goes, sets off as he does, but it's twice he's hit the deck and lost the ball now.
I disagree, Alice. I think
Can't imagine it'll happen again. He's too good.
Because it settled first, then you pushed just before the ball came in. That's the picture I'm seeing. It's up to you guys to change.
That came off them, and he's right. It actually came off Augustus's hand going backwards first. Whether there's a knock-on from Thacker thereafter. It's this offload gets batted backwards and then onto him, and he loses it forward. So probably a good decision from referee.
Bind. Set. Now wait, both teams. Both teams stood up, play on.
Out it comes quickly for Smith. And Dingwall, brilliant gather from Freeman. Those two working so well together, flings it infield, Ram can't hold it. Lane bats it onwards. Bailey now from 5 metres out. And they will go from here, of course they will. It's Bristol. It's Ravovo. Shut down this time by Northampton.
Don't put your hands in, it's a rock. Okay, use it please, Bristol.
Ravovo thought he was going to go around Mayana Vanua then, didn't he? No chance. He's very, very big, but he's also very, very
Bristol,
quick.
use it.
Rich Lane doing the job from the base. In the absence of Randall, but here, Ram.
They're very light out there.
Feeding Hutchinson. Here's Mitchell again. More work with the ball. Hutchinson on hands. Dingwall moving onwards still. Coles. Smith. Mayana Vanua. One-handed offload. Smith again. And away. Ram under the posts. Bonus point for Northampton. Garden's on its feet.
And this one all comes from brilliant counter-attack. It's Lane is in the scrum half position. He needed to get the ball off the field because they were lopsided with so many players over on that right-hand side. Immediately, the counter-attack was obviously on, and the quality of the passing of this Northampton Saints backline and the interplay, offload and keep the ball alive. And the big thing that's been very noticeable is their patience. If it isn't on, they hold it. But look at that slickness of the handling and then getting that offload to Ram, who started it all off. Really, really good bonus point try for Saints, and now they're coasting.
It's a lovely finish, isn't it? The offload and finish is beautiful. Lovely celeb and all that, but that pass left to right from Hutchinson is just a perler, isn't it? Makes it look so easy. Puts Mitchell in all this space, then gets a second involvement. Dingwall does brilliantly here because Gen just got him.
time off.
He is looking at that. Mitchell did feel as though.
Oh, here we
so
go.
we're looking at the pass from Mitchell inside to Hutchinson. I believe it comes out of his hands forward, similar to the one earlier.
Yeah, let's have a look, Matthew. That one angle you just showed, I think, is the best one, isn't it?
That will be the best angle.
Yeah, so this pass on the inside, yeah, that's good. That's out the hands forward, isn't it, Matthew?
It rolls out of his hand forward.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool, thank you.
Take it all back.
Hold that thought.
Take it all back.
Full pass, same as the one earlier.
So, as you were, they'll have to wait for that bonus point try, and Bristol will breathe a hearty sigh of relief, because as it stands, it looks as if their playoff challenge is dwindling by the minute.
I tell you what, on the decision, I'm a big fan of the right decisions being made, and if that takes an extra few seconds, it's worth it.
Lads, let's have this competition.
But I'm not a massive fan of the right decision being made post-conversion. It's happening quite often, a bit too often.
Okay?
Got to get on this a bit sharper, I think. I think our officiating teams are brilliant. I don't know if there's a delay on the footage, but you're watching it from up here and think someone's got to be checking that.
What it does do, it stops that old law of no decision being able to be made after the goal kick is taken, and that's why you're seeing drop kicks being taken really quickly to stop the TMO from interluding.
I mean, it's the right call. It's just a bit anticlimactic for the people that have bought the tickets. You know, you sort of you almost got to wait to celebrate sometimes.
Set.
So can Bristol do something with this reprieve? Harding bringing in Jimmy Williams, who's come on for Bristol in place of Diego Bailey. Lane, he's got Revivo to his right. Revivo hits the gas. Oh! Brought down somehow by Ram. And the flag is raised. James Ram coming up with something a little special at a moment when everybody in the stadium thought he was well beaten.
Hey, they were cooked. They were toasted off first phase. So nice. Space is so big from Northampton. Ibitoye did a brilliant job, actually, to hold Litchfield. What a tap tackle that is, Dricko.
There's try-saving tackles, and then there's this one from James Ram.
Stay two for me, please, Harry.
He has to time that meticulously. Outside arm, just in time to get his outside leg to clip the inside one. What a tackle. Brilliant from AJ McGinty. His timing on the execution was sublime, knowing when to, the defender was committed, when to throw the pass.
You're not stood at the back of the maul. You're not.
Stunning from James Ram. Literally everybody thought he was cooked.
Over here, player offside the set.
But he didn't. And you've got to have enough force going through as you fling your arms out, haven't you, in that way? Like, he really gave it everything he had. He was at full stretch, and Revivo was at full tilt.
Hell of a job that he's done. Fantastic.
Look at this technique. His inside arm. I was thinking about the celebration. The basketball. Steel Pollock, it's like the Sioux.
Yeah. Saving it up, maybe. Interference in the air at the line out, and that has allowed Northampton here to work their way further upfield. Santi Grondona.
Second penalty in a row. Grondona, he's offside at the breakdown, which got Northampton to this spot, and then he's up too late for that. He's just got to get up, he's got to leave it, I'm afraid. He's got to turn his body and try and smack into somebody once he lands. He can't go grabbing at arms like that's 2 pens in a row. Cost him 85 metres.
85 metres. Look where Saints are now.
He's in the channel, yeah?
Langdon to the tail. Cole's rising highest. Here's Langdon again. It's loose into the midfield. Williams, though, hasn't gathered it. Pollock has. And Pollock sends it wide, or wider. Ram, 2, 3 pirouettes, still moving. Pollock gathers, backdoor offload for Coles.
Okay, advantage over for the knock-on.
Mitchell, Hutchinson. Mitchell again, trouble brewing for the Bears. Mayada Vanua lays it up, taken on by Augustus. Good shot coming in from Max Laheath. Mitchell, though, picking the lines, picking the options, and Freeman delivering the bonus. Wonderful from Northampton. Bristol, well, they're in a whole pile of bother right now.
Their accuracy at the ruck at the moment is just something else. We talked about their patience, but it's their capacity to be able to win rucks with a really impressive body fight on the ground from the ball carrier, getting good placement, and then the first clear being accurate, getting rid of any bodies immediately, maybe with a security of a second, but that's what's generating this super quick ruck ball, and no defence in the world can align when you have that level of speed of ruck ball and the distribution skills of this Northampton Saints backline.
You just wonder, I don't think it's going to make much difference. That it might do. Bristol could come out and score 40 in the second half. We know what they've got. But it's worth just keeping your eye. Nice finish from Freeman, easy enough, too easy, frankly. But you keep your eye on Alex Mitchell and how long he's having to wait for that ball at the breakdown. It's worth watching for the next few minutes. He's picking it up pretty much as soon as he wants it. As soon as he gets a call, he's got the ball in his hands. This is the definition of an armchair ride for that man, and you can't give him one. He's too good, they're too good. Bristol have got to do more at the breakdown. Well, that's nice.
That's worked out nicely. Owen to Grondona, loose offload again though, and Luatua has to mop it all up for Bristol. Randall finding Genge. He's banged over by Curtis Langdon. Here's Van Rensburg, again. Freeman sniffing, 2 already today. And then Ibitoye flinging it into touch, and Bristol are not finding their touch.
It's good pressure. It was good line speed. I think they were playing zones, so no one quite got into the passing channel where the ball was thrown to. Fortunately for Bristol Bears, they got away with that one.
Northampton have just about clung on to that. Pollock pops it over the top for Mitchell. Hutchinson leaves it hanging, and Finn Smith is there. Williams is there also, and Mitchell's done well to work back and offer himself up as an alternative. Ibitoye. Bristol need a spark. Not that sort of spark. Well, maybe that sort of spark. It's Randall who's racing clear here. Ibitoye to his left, times the pass, cuts back infield, one-handed. Oh, doesn't need the offload, he'll go himself. There it is, an extraordinary score. It might just be what Bristol need. It began with just about the worst chip you've ever seen in your life, but it's ended up with a try, and Bristol will be grateful for anything right now.
We can say this now with a smile on our face. It was an appalling kick and a really nicely taken try.
Sorry, AJ.
It was an interesting idea that he tried. He was always going to try something exciting, wasn't he? Ibitoye, fantastic player to watch for us lot. The chip didn't happen at all, but I think it was so poor that Northampton couldn't even deal with it either. They didn't predict it being that bad. Bounce kindly for Harry Randall. I'm sure we'll have a look at it.
Conversion from McGinty.
It's just a little deflection, and it put Randall on side because he's in front of him. The fact that it nudges forward means everyone's on side. And then Randall, actually Finn Smith does a really good job to try and play off as long as he possibly can. And Ibitoye thought, I'll have a step inside, I'll offload. No, I'll just pivot around, and another step, there we go. Geez, when you have that much time, you know you're good.
9 in the league now for Gabe Ibitoye. He's been offering something just very different in the league for Bristol. Here's Kemeny for Northampton. As we bear down on half-time, Langdon to Smith. Ayana Vanua runs into Caulfield. Mitchell. Coles. Saints think there might be one more in this. Penalty against Saints. Mitchell's away.
A little tantrum.
Thank you. Shot at goal.
A shot at goal is called, and just a little bit of afters.
Alex, just come here a sec.
And a talking to.
Thank you. Mate.
I'd rather go at you, I'm just annoyed.
I know, but
in anger.
You're clearly away from the mark, and it looks pretty bad when you throw the ball down like that, so please don't do that again, all right?
Finn Smith to take us to half-time.
Can't see a shot clock.
Slots it. And a fascinating first 40 minutes of rugby here at Franklin's Gardens. Bristol starting the stronger. Diego Bailey with that early score, but what a response from the Saints. Mitchell, 2 from Freeman and 1 from Langdon. Ibitoye dragging Bristol at least back into the conversation late on. I predict 40 minutes of chaos in this second period. Half-time, Northampton 27, Bristol 12. Yes, work to be done for sure for Bristol. These are worrying times if you're a Bears fan. You've seen some wonderful rugby, you've seen some spectacular skill through the course of the season, but you're now looking at a 15-point deficit here at half-time. You're looking at the next 3 fixtures and you're beginning to worry. Bath at home, Sale away, and Quins at home. It's a tough run-in, and they seem to be losing their way in these latter stages. So they need something here, and this isn't going to help. Augustus pings it inside to Coles. That's been knocked forwards, I think, by Kemeny on the way through, and the Bears are off the hook. And here's Jimmy Williams feeding Genge. There'll be plenty of fire and passion from Bristol, but they need to find some accuracy, and they need to plug some holes. Randall, the spirit of adventure continues, but Ibitoye has been snared, and back we come for the knock-on.
Yeah, it was the equivalent of a freebie shot. You see the cross-field kick very often when you know you've got something to fall back on. It was a really nice restart. It's sloppy from Bristol Bears, knowing that the breaking ball, they have to win those 50-50s in this half if they want to get back into the game. The scraps are so important because it's just about holding possession and stopping the opposition. The steam train that Northampton Saints are at the moment, that would have been a disastrous first 20 seconds of the second half, considering the words I'm sure that were spoken at half-time.
We'll find out exactly what those messages were when we get a word with Pat Lam in the not-too-distant future. In the meantime, solidity at the scrum, and Randall feeding McGinty. Lane.
He's inside, lads. Harry!
Ram waiting for that. And communicating well with Freeman, who comes in to assist with the clear out. Mitchell to Hutchinson. Ibitoye thought there might have been a chance of an intercept. It's gone forwards from Ibitoye.
There was a chance, actually. If Hutchinson had hugged the touchline, it was a really good option for Mitchell. I think he kind of predicted his mate would be in the right place. There was very nearly an interception, actually. It was high-risk stuff. There's Big Kev.
Big Kev. A word for Big Kev. Kevin Buckley, 700 games as the kit man for the Northampton Saints. What a man. Been in post since August 2004. He loves it. He can't get enough of it.
700 games, he hasn't changed a bit. He looked like that when he was 12. Top man.
Much loved in these parts, and many of you will have seen the raw emotion at the end of the Premiership final a year ago. He was overcome with the excitement of it all. Saints to his bootstraps. That look forwards from Freeman. But on we go, and Finn Smith is there trying to bounce through Van Rensburg. Here's Kemeny. Grondona arrives for Bristol, not before time. Mitchell again to the short side. Coles driving onwards to that 22. Mitchell again, Pollock on his left, tries to get the offload away, and it's blocked in the process.
It's a really tidy launch play from Saints here. It's such a difficult play to defend because of the mechanism of playing 4 up. They're all trying to stick their man, and it's late movement from the winger to confuse whose man is whose. And then if you can get quick hands away, you can often get that strike play through. You see lots of teams going to it. They'll see it next week against Leinster, who are a big fan of it off launch play.
Grondona for Harding of Bristol. Still trying to create so deep within their 22, and Randall decides that they've had enough of that for the time being.
Really good kick that from Harry Randall, really good. Nice exit, nice and clean from Bristol. Saints competed hard, but the set piece was good. Just the next 10 minutes, just watch if Bristol go a bit harder at the breakdown, if they get any joy in slowing Northampton down.
Once more, that interchange on the short side. Popped through by Mitchell. Oh, tricky bounce, and Revovo responds well and somehow stays in field, driving through the challenges. Gensh.
No, second man.
For the speed of ball for Randall. Look at the fight from Saints, how long he's waiting. Admittedly, this wouldn't necessarily be a quick ball situation.
Williams, Van Rensburg and Northampton are all over that. Freeman's all over that. And the ball is there for them. And here's Manny Yogan driving the knife home. Bristol chasing the game. Saints pouncing.
Talk about turning defence into attack flats, to your exact point about the speed of the ruck ball. That has such big implications on them being able to make a decision like that.
There's a question about whether you're second
Playing
man,
hard
so
up,
you leave it.
knowing their spacings were very, very comfortable, and then managing to get the turnover when Bristol Bears feel the need to force the offload. Not the place to do it. It's very early to be chasing the game, but Saints have started like in the second half, like they finished the first.
Looks like both.
And I think you got Tommy Freeman, of course, getting lots of pats on the back.
Was there a little knock on there?
Oh, let's go back and have a look, Dricko. Let's have a look. But you watch Tommy Freeman here. Look how hard he has to work. He hasn't done anything. I mean, what he's done very well, but he hasn't been asked any questions. No one's holding him. He's kind of edged up with the rest of his mates, made a dominant tackle, somebody who's effectively in the air.
It was knocked on by Bristol. There's no knock on.
Half volleys him.
It was knocked on by Bristol. There was, yeah.
Playing like that off slow ball is so high risk if you haven't got a serious plan up your sleeve.
Well, the officials reckon that the ball was knocked on by Bristol rather than by Northampton, so the try will stand. Number 5 for the afternoon.
Two more, one more, Cole. On his neck.
Tackle. No, you dropped your own weight. The ball's there, trapped under your own man. Inside. Use it, please.
Sir.
Mitchell's box kick. Revovo's arriving in a hurry, but the tap back affected by Luatua, but it's fallen here for Litchfield of Northampton. Finn Smith, the kick pass. Pollock gathers it. That's high from Ibitoye. Mitchell again, probing hard, and Miller Mills is on hand from Freeman, and he's doing really well to get to within range of the 10-metre line. Coles forwards from Mayana Vanua, and Caulfield comes away with it for Bristol.
Coles nearly put a hole in him with the pass. It was so aggressive.
Still under scrum advantage.
Van Rensburg, Ibitoye. And a penalty here to Bristol, which Randall
Stand up, hang on.
would like sooner rather
He's
than
pulling it up, you're in
later.
the way. You got 2 hands on the floor.
Let's have a word with Pat Lamb, Director of Rugby with the Bears. Pat, how are you going to dig yourself out of this one?
Oh, we just got to stick to our game and get to our game. Obviously, we've turned over ball, given some soft tries and so forth. I think we spoke about this at half-time. We only had about 40% possession, and both teams want to play, but they've been playing on the back of back-to-back penalties, turnovers and so forth. So just plenty of time, but we got to get our chance to have a crack and be accurate.
So a little bit more discipline, a tiny bit more structure.
Yeah, well, the structure's there. It's about looking after the ball here.
Right, thanks for your time,
some
Pat.
momentum. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Here comes Ibitoye on the crash ball. Ogre has been deployed from the bench, and Litchfield has battered that straight into touch. Well, the structure may be there, and the message is clear from half-time.
Clear space on this side.
But now it's about actually executing on the messaging.
The cutting edge was missing last week as well. 17 line breaks, but they couldn't properly convert like they usually do. And it's been more of the same today. Exhibit A, just small little handling errors. The quality of the distribution hasn't been anything like Saints. And then they're not winning the collision zone like they ordinarily do to set the platform that they need for their strike runners.
Better from Genge, certainly on that carry. Here's McGinty. Ideally, you don't want McGinty making those hard yards. You need him freed up to distribute properly and make the most of the quality possession. Randall, Genge again. He's the man that Bristol are trying to rally behind. Lahif is driving onwards as well. This is better from Bristol. Williams to the line and not quite through. Viliame Mata is on the pitch as well now. Luatua goes to ground.
Tackle now.
Ogre, maybe this changes that have been made from the bench will change the complexion of things. Genge again, working the feet, but losing the ball. And Mayana Vanua feeds Augustus and hits Pollock again on the shoulder. And skipping through the challenge was that forwards to Kemeny.
I think it is.
Once more, end to end.
Pass back on the halfway line, 7
And there's the intervention from Matthew Carley, our TMO.
It's actually a little bit sloppy from Pollock. It shouldn't have happened. He was pretty much in control. He skipped out of the challenge, and it was a one-hander.
About 5 metres
Might have
into
looked
the half.
good, but
towards the
ineffective.
Bristol posts.
It was a little bit style over substance, wasn't it? Augustus does really well to get this away. It's one of those things you say no need for it, and there was no need for it. A little two-handed pop pass, but equally so many of these things from these players in this league come off. I quite like the artistic intent, to be honest. I don't mind it.
The artistic intent.
Substitution number 3.
Gets you nominated, doesn't get you the award.
That's it, that's it.
So a change being made in the front row for Bristol. George Kloska is coming on for Max Lahif. Already seen the arrival of Jimmy Williams, of Viliame Mata and Gabe Ogre. There's no time to lose, really, from Pat Lowndes' perspective. You'll roll any dice you have at this point in time.
Crouch!
Mata's arrival moving Fitzharding to the flank.
Set!
They'll be using the acceleration of Lane to that right-hand side.
Play away. Your man's up, Harry.
Or the left side.
They all move to the left, and McGinty tries to free up from Rensburg.
He released the ball, got back to his feet.
Yeah, easy call. Easy call. Fitzharding straight over the top. The person to watch, really, the person to watch isn't really Fitzharding. It's Kemeny trying to get over the top. Josh Kemeny tries to get over the top of this. Not this one, there. And he's got absolutely no chance because there's someone off their feet in the way.
And once more off the back of Bristol inaccuracy, Saints march upfield. Coles on a plate from Mitchell. Augustus shows inside, heads outside. Dingwall, riding that tackle from Ogre well. Hutchinson having to do the same. The line speed has intensified from the Bears as it's dribbled through in front of Kemeny and touch is found.
Yeah, a little bit of panic from Finn Smith. They were going backwards, but it wasn't his best kick. We see that grubber so often, but it was a little bit too much heat on it. He was trying to keep that one in the field of play, but got too much on it. But some shot in the midfield.
I never want you to make a meal out of it. It doesn't need to. That's not in the values of our
Luatua
sport.
came through on Hutchinson.
With another one in the background.
You mean in the ruck?
Williams on Pollock.
They're trying to make their presence felt as regards Henry Pollock, Bristol.
Time on, please.
Ogre.
Over 15.
Straight over the top to Williams. Inside for Ibitoye. Brought to ground by Mayana Vanua. Owen rumbles onwards. Once more, lost the ball in contact. Is Langdon for Northampton. Miller Mills hit hard by Matter. Hutchinson also, but still the ball is alive. And Mitchell's flicking it out of the back for Kemeny. And that's just brute strength on 2 counts. First by Kemeny, then by Luatua. And back we go for the knock-on.
Some big shots coming in. I tell you what, Elliot Miller-Mills did well to ride that, didn't he? From Bill Matter. It was a great shot, but he stayed on his feet. Alex Coles has impressed me so far. Does a lot of good work. He's big and strong. He's athletic. His ball skills have been really nice.
Same again.
A great shot that from Matter. He looks better at full speed, actually. But it helps being built like a cannonball. It's quite hard to knock you over. Went a bit high this from O'Grady, didn't it? But it didn't really matter in the end. It was full judo then.
"25 minutes remaining. Saints fans in good voice. Keen to climb the Premiership table, even keener to see their side in good nick ahead of their visit to the Aviva next week in the Champions Cup semi-final. A rerun of exactly the same stage a year ago. Mitchell, Smith, Ram, tackle from Ravovo, quick ball again for Mitchell. Coles in the carry, over the ball,
well left.
Go Bristol. Mitchell, so much sleight of hand. Kemeny now. Bullocking run.
Quick ball again. Ali, it's quick ball, quick ball, quick ball. Luatua doing his best, but it's more quick ball.
Finn Smith hangs on this time, and so too does Ogre in the tackle.
Yeah, that's fine. Excellent work, thank you.
Wide they go. Ram, held by Ravovo. Bristol clinging on at the moment. One more big tackle from Fitzharding. Devil of a job as captain in these circumstances. Still Saints come forwards. Kemeny again, that abrasive edge. Onto it goes Luatua, and that is an outstanding turnover.
Harry, the mark.
You know, he's not gone from the mark. Do you know, I was just wondering then, there's an opportunity here for Bristol, and it's not too late, but I thought there's so much quick ball for Northampton Saints that actually...
You've got to take it from where the penalty was. You're running to me, that's the problem.
I'll wait for the
I
red.
don't want to stop you, so you have to take it at the mark.
Actually, the Saints players are struggling to keep up, really. They're struggling to get there. They're struggling to resource the rucks. Their heart rate's absolutely flying. They're almost, and in the end, I thought they're going to be thin at a breakdown here. And Luatua, they were, and Luatua got in and pounced.
Okay. Time off, 1, 2,
the ball
3,
is coming so quick. Saints can hardly realign.
1, 2 and 3 Saints.
A whole new front row coming onto the fields for Northampton. Henry Walker, Tom West and Luke Green replacing Manny Eogan, Curtis Langdon and Elliot Miller-Mills.
Okay, thank you, time off.
Augustus Smith,
no, 50-20.
Dingwall, space in behind Ibitoye. Ravovo, quickly onto it, but he's fumbled that. Not a clear forward motion.
Ball backwards. Thank you. Definitely backwards.
Width is found, Lane cuts in field, but that was a pass forward. And the crowd finally do have what they were after.
He had a great line in it as well. I think he got this one correct. Ball doesn't travel forward there as much as every Northampton Saint fan in the stadium tried to suggest otherwise, but this one, trying to whip it across, just comes out of his hand. AJ McGinty's forward and he knows it. They're chasing it, and when it goes against you, it really unravels. You just can't put anything together right now.
Listen to the applause for Alex Mitchell. People around us here, one or two of them at least standing on their feet. That was some display from the England scrum half. He's been absolutely everywhere, causing havoc with his speed, with his dexterity, and with the variety of options, Flats.
He's defended pretty well too when he's had to. That's it. That's it. A little bit of ag at the scrum. That's what we want.
For his head. I think that was initially the problem. That's my view. Find your balance, give him the space for his head.
So a change of personnel here to concentrate on, and different target for Ellis Genge to focus on in Luke Green. A late inclusion on the bench for Northampton. Trevor Davison ruled out in the warm-up.
Crouch!
Tom Lockett packing down behind him.
Bind!
It's Grady, come on.
Set!
Squeeze!
Bit of early weight, maybe.
Not now, not now, not now.
Bit of early weight. It felt like Green, who's come on the tight head, he just set up on a bit of an angle. And Ellis Genge found himself on the outside a little bit, lost a bit of balance. He will argue there wasn't enough there for him to hit because Green had gone on the angle. Do you know what? He won the penalty. Can he?
Genge looking for some sort of clarification. It was short-lived from Adam Leal. Henry Walker with the input for Kemeny. Pollock the transfer to Augustus. And again, Bristol under siege. Whipped away by Tom James. He was man of the match at Newcastle last weekend. On at 9. Coles banged over by Caulfield. Again, the ruck ball just continues to be lightning quick. James again into the midfield they go. Here's Lockett once more. Caulfield with an important hit.
He's worth avoiding, isn't he, Caulfield, in a head-on collision?
Space on the outside, maybe. Augustus batted his way through. It's relentless at the moment from Northampton. Bristol simply don't have the answers.
James picking up where Mitchell left off with really good decision-making. It's been a real point of difference today around the choice of where to go when it's called. If it's on, it's on, irrespective of the personnel. Walker comes on and Augustus one-on-one out wide.
All good,
no thanks.
Just
even
for
for the
awareness, there was a no-arms
big Revovo.
13 white would have been penalty only in trying to stop the number 8 scoring.
Don't blame him.
Just in the corner there, Matthew, yeah?
No arm
no
tackle.
attempt to use his arms at all.
Fair enough. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much interest Calavetti Revovo had in that tackle. Limited.
Arrow straight from Finn Smith. Saints into the 40s. And with 20 minutes to go, you're tempted to say that even Bristol, even fast-scoring Bristol, can't claw this one back.
This one's gone flat.
Yep.
It's Bristol and Quins of a few years ago were the only two teams that were able to conjure big points, but that is an absolute mountain to climb. If Finn Smith comes up at the hour mark, he'll have a big say in next week. Important that he's going to be at his very best. If Northampton Saints are to further their aspirations in Europe.
Excellent bit of work from Revovo. And now he's beaten his man on the outside and is chasing down his own kick. Augustus.
Twice he didn't want to tackle him.
Once more doing battle with the Fijian.
Reckon they got a gentleman's agreement, those two.
We've seen all these replacements deployed now by Phil Dowson. You will be beginning to think in rather clearer terms about next week and keeping sufficient numbers of bodies fresh. Nicely done from Lane to Ibitoye. Dragged down, gets the ball away to Williams. Ogre. Singles out Tom West. And the ball is there for Bristol. They've got the penalty. Taken by Genj. This feels like something of a one-man mission. There are enough bodies there, but that was a tap and go full of fury and frustration. Van Rensburg. Williams, low from lane, forwards to Ravovo. And where Saints are finding the edge and they're finding hands, Bristol too often are finding the deck.
They're just off their game, aren't they? You associate the best of multi-phase games with this Bristol Bears team. Everything is just a fraction off. The quality of passing, the timing of runs. When everyone is ordinarily an option, someone's just getting slightly ahead to cut off a passing channel. They just have not been quite on it. It's partly down to their own shortcomings, but a huge amount has come from the pressure of Saints. They've been outstanding in defence today as well, not committing too many to the ruck, getting really good spacing, slowing the ruck ball down. Very good all-round performance from the home side.
I thought you guys tried to overwin the shot. I thought his legs were stationary.
Simon needs to be part of the Lions coaching setup. Watching on with interest.
Ellis, we're not always going to agree, but that was a picture I saw.
Spoken about the variety of player here this afternoon that he'll have his eye on. Ellis Genj most certainly is one of those.
He's got to go. For my money, Bristol look like they're going to be well beaten today. But he's got to go for me.
There's got to be some matchup between him and Porter to see who gets that best spot.
Stand up.
The Andrew Porter engine is something to observe, isn't it?
I don't need the commentary as we go, okay? Allow me to deal with it.
That's our job, lads.
There we go. It didn't help that I had to say crouch twice. So we go again. Let's get it right, boys.
These numbers don't make for good reading, do they, for Bristol? Sorry to keep reiterating it, but thumped by Leicester last week at home, 36-19. Taken apart by Gloucester, 53-28. A couple of weeks before that. Here today, 41-12 down. They are losing the air from their tyres as they hit the all-important part of the season.
You see, really dominant from Bristol then, but the ball wasn't in yet. I wonder if that chat Ellis Genj had and said, listen, why are you pinging me? We're dominant. Didn't hurt that chat he had.
Ogre for Bristol, ball stolen by Pollock. Free kick awarded here to the Bears, taken quickly by Marmion, who's come on for Randall. Williams dragged down by the ever-willing Dingwall. Ibitoye tried to get that away. Ram was onto it, thumped it clear.
On the ball, 13 the wrong side.
Not rolling here from Dingwall, so Bristol with opportunities.
Get someone to fetch that ball down there, please. Yeah.
I think Pat Lamb, when you spoke to him a while ago, Ali, he mentioned, you know, what can you do with 40% possession? It's not enough. And it's a good point. Nobody wants the opposition to have so much more possession, but it's what you do with it. That is a horrible mistake.
You will not believe it as you're chatting. That is the biggest slice of all time, and that typifies Bears afternoon. You have to kick it 5 metres from the try line, and you kick it at least 5 metres over it. It wasn't even close.
I'll tell you what Saints said there, Al. He's talking to Fergie, the Saints scrum coach, Mac Ferguson Genges, and he's saying, why are you not accepting the hit? Why are you pulling out on the hit? Why are you not accepting the hit? So he's been done once or twice for going early, but he feels like he's piled in.
And they're backing off.
And they're backing off. I've got to say, 2 decisions ago, I agreed with him when he got pinged.
Bind! Set! Stay up!
James. Dingwall left that hanging beautifully for Hutchinson. It's so crisp. And away they go again. This is Seabrook on the move, bouncing through one challenge and a second. The offloading is strong as well. James to Freeman, pretty much doing as they please at the moment. In goes McGinty to try to slow things up. Coles, though, for Northampton. Dingwall again. Here's Henry Walker. Kemeny on the outside, floats it over the top. Brought down by Joe Owen. Ogre thought he had it for a minute. It's done enough.
He's a little lucky. He is. I think his arms do go beyond the ball. That's what the referees might have penalised that.
I thought he wasn't supporting from here. Thought he wasn't supporting his weight there, Dricko.
Thank you. Just that.
It's nicely played. This pass was lovely from Walker over the top. Little overs line, took out 3 defenders with that. He's not supporting his body weight. He's got a full forearm and elbow on the floor. It's the side entry clear out that doesn't help. It creates a bad picture, I think, but they've got lucky there, Bristol.
Over 15.
Williams, Marmion, and McGinty. A big shot from Dingwall, and there's plenty to be done on that far side by Siva Naulanga, who's on now. McGinty, Ian Thomas, here's Lane, and more tackle from Dingwall. They just keep running into trouble here, Bristol. Williams again. Ball stolen, Pollock has it.
No, Bristol off feet!
Coles, Kemeny, just so eager all the time to keep the ball off the floor wherever possible.
They look like they're playing with extra numbers, do Saints.
Caulfield was smartly onto that, but as he reached the ball, he just knocked it on.
What I was going to say before, Al, was that Pat Lam talked about possession. Of course, he's right. Nobody wants 40% possession in a game. But Northampton Saints aren't winning this game so comfortably and so well as Tommy Freeman predictably has removed. Quite right. A big game next week, lots coming up. But they're not winning this game because they've had more possession. They're winning because of what they do with it. And because of the possession Bristol have awarded them, which has been rapid ball at about 8 out of 10 breakdowns. And when Northampton have had the ball, they've been far more precise, far more cohesive. So it does help to have more possession. It also helps to do something with it when you've got it. Do more with it when you've got it. Bristol just haven't been at it either side of the ball.
Freeman off, Glister on. Hutchinson playing 10 now in the absence of Finn Smith. 13 minutes remaining. Tom James drives it through. Pollock on the chase. Up goes Ibitoye and does well to get through 2.5 tackles. Marmion, Caulfield, McGinty, the big old dummy. Williams to Lane. And Joe Owen sees the ball go straight through his arms. If you needed a snapshot of Bristol's day, that might be it.
They've been way off it from after their first score. They've been very, very average. They're much better than this individually and collectively. Their skill set has dropped significantly, but I think a huge amount of credit has to go to the pressure that Saints had put on them at ruck time. They've put hardly any bodies in. It means they've filled the field, they've covered the backfield, they've made decisions when they thought that they could pilfer a ball. Pollock's gotten a few. I think they've been defensively outstanding, as good as they have been in attack.
Henry Walker round on the peel. Here's Augustus. So hard to stop the South African. We'll miss him next season as he heads off to Ulster. Kemeny, I think that's gone forwards from Saints, it has, so Bristol will breathe again. How do you rate their chances, Brian, next weekend? They're a team that have been quite hard to properly judge, I would argue, in this campaign. Saints, we know how good they can be when all the passes are sticking. They've got the firepower.
They do, right? They're going to have to be excellent. We know that because Leinster, particularly on the back of what we've seen the last number of weeks, have been so clinical, excellent in their defence and so good in attack as well. They're a little like Saints have been today, but this is going to be a considerable step up. And they're going to have all that X factor. Mitchell, who probably had an off game last year in the semi-final, he's going to be after be at his best. Augustus has had a big game today. He's going to have to be huge in his ball carrying, and they're just going to have to go through this blitz defence. Fool's goal going wide around it. You've got to go through, up the guts, and match them physically.
Quite sure that experience last season will put them in a good position as well. Here's Ibitoye, little stop and go, Marmion on his shoulder, and the chase is on here. Lots to do for Seabrook, and somehow chases him down. Ibitoye is caught, and the ball is now with Will Glister of Northampton, and away he goes. Coles to Seabrook, gathers it one-handed. Pollock! One more offload, it won't sit.
Well, wow, I mean, Gabriel Ibitoye, firstly, had absolutely no right to make that break. It was not great set-up play for him. He got the ball standing still, fully marked up, but he's so explosive. Went for the foot race, but he's against Seabrook, who's got the angle and who is fresh. It was never going to happen, and he's on his own for way too long. Runs away from all of his mates, or rather, his mates can't keep up with him. And Pollock, that time the one-handed offload was needed. The execution just wasn't quite there.
He is some runner, isn't he, Ibitoye? The feet so fast, and that acceleration from a standing start, frightening.
Oh, he's fabulous, mate. Great to watch. That was a brilliant tackle from Seabrook. Proper job for that. I know he hasn't been on that long, but that's a proper effort. Ibitoye's great to watch. Unconventional. Yes, there are some mistakes in there. What a pleasure to watch, and that guy been like a train today.
Well, they call him Trocky, don't they? The little truck, the South African. And we've seen a lot of that this afternoon. He is carried so well. Very difficult man to bring down. He seems to have low centre of gravity. Gain line is always his target.
2 players down, play away, play away.
Good scrum from Bristol, and now Langdon back amongst us. Missed 5 months with injury this season, Stephen Langdon.
No.
Ravovo taking the outside. Ibitoye being chased down by Dingwall, and then very well met in the tackle from James Ram.
Well, it was a gift for James Ram, wasn't it? Ibitoye was speculating, arms in the air, presenting the full rib cage, the full flank. Beautiful.
Through the middle of the right goes Marmion. Offloads for Jan Thomas, who was, I think, a little surprised to see that. Marmion again.
Not now, your feet, 7.
O'Gray to McGinty. Williams feeding Lane. Good acceleration from Lane. Here's now Lango. Freed up on the right, and 2 to beat. Saints combine effectively. Picked up by Luatua, and Williams is in. And the Bears have one back. 7.5 odd minutes to play.
Try is good.
And they're trying to make the most of their possession here late on. It's almost certainly, barring some kind of rugby miracle, far too far away.
Hey, wasn't that nice? Really, really nicely done. Lane out the back, just had enough room to use his pace and get around the outside. Stephen Olango, wow. Acceleration, fabulous. I thought he might have fluffed his lines when he got... Yes, he interested both defenders, but I thought he might get the ball away. Nicely done that. Luatua does just enough to hold the Northampton defence. And I wondered if this was all over. Rich Lane digs in. Luatua very quick to get that. That's great from Luatua, isn't it? Fantastic.
That's really good from Lane as well. That's a turnover if he doesn't identify that he needs to be the key cleaner out at that ruck, secures possession, allows Luatua to come along and pick it up and play half-back. Williams has been busy since he's come on.
I'm just going to put the time
Pulled out late last week. He's been a very
right?
important part of their season, Jimmy Williams, and injured more recently. That's their 3rd try, incidentally. They'll be after that extra one here to secure at least the try bonus. with 7 minutes to go. Here's Angus Scott-Young. West. Walker. Kemeny. And we'll go around the outside of McGinty, who goes back in for more. And the attempted turnover from Mata. Lockett lays it up. Hutchinson slides past Owen. Dingwall.
No, 50-20.
Mavovo in the backfield. Saints all around him. Chips over the top. In comes James. Braces himself for impact and offloads to Litchfield. Glister.
Stepped off.
Walker. Tip on for West. And Scott Young.
No, leave it 8.
Fitz Harding having to give up the fight on the floor. Pollock to Hutchinson. Coles, who's carried so well today. James. Oh, through 2. And Pollock on his inside. And Pollock will have his score with a big old flourish. Night, Bristol.
He couldn't just pop it down and jog back, could he? He had to do something. I love it. You felt like there's only a few minutes left, but he'll have his moment. He'll have another moment. Really sharp from James. Bristol, it must just be exhausting, a game like this, just exhausting, especially when you're being so well beaten. But James, so sharp last week. As you said, Dricko picked up exactly where Mitchell left off. And he had to do something, didn't he? Super sharp. Bristol just, again, too much quick ball for Saints. Cannot keep getting off the ground and making the hits and putting themselves in the right place. They just haven't got the time.
Well, free scoring Pollock in recent times. 5 tries in his last 4 appearances in all. I think Chris Ashton might have a word to say about the splash. A little bit of work to be done there.
He's had a lot of involvements today as Pollock. There's a cleverness to his game as well. Obviously, he's all action and he's hyped, but actually the nuts and bolts of his game, okay, a couple of loose offloads, put those right. He's had a very, very complete performance, just defensively strong, making good decisions, when to go into rucks, when to leave it. Very mature for a young guy playing in the back row. His versatility to be able to play anywhere in that back row position as well is going to work wonders for him over the course of his career and maybe in the next couple of months.
So the knock-on from Saints off the back of the restart.
Let's go. Thanks, Mark, lads, let's go. Couple of seconds, this format.
Just the last couple scrums, Northampton Saints been under a lot of pressure. Bristol probably won't want to be too aggressive here. Just want to keep it rock steady.
Crouch!
Give Marmion a nice ball to play with.
Bind!
Apologies for the language you might have picked up.
Set!
What can the Bears do from here? Can they salvage a try bonus?
All six of you are
play of the match.
Easy. I mean, I could have picked 17 or 18 Northampton Saints, to be honest. Could have picked either of those two on the right. I'm going to actually pick the guy in the middle, Alex Mitchell. I know that he was given what I call an armchair ride, I think, in the first half. But it ain't what you got, it's what you do with it. And he was fantastic. Bristol didn't deal with the ruck speed. And when he was given it, he tore them apart. Fantastic around the fringes. Defended well, as I said, when he had to. For me, the best rugby player on this field today, the Gallagher Premiership player of the match, Alex Mitchell.
Free kick from the scrum for Bristol, and there's space here for Ibitoye. This for the bonus. In he flies. The Bears have 4 tries now, so they will leave Franklin's Gardens with something.
We know that can be so important come the end of the season. They do have a difficult run in, but they've gotten something from this game, which is all important. Every time you lose, you have to pick up a losing bonus point of some sort, and that could be vital in 3 or 4 weeks' time, we come to round 18, and we look at the Prem table and who's in that all-important coveted 4th position, because we know Bath now are going to be top dogs. Leicester looking really good, so what two teams of the chasing pack are going to get through, and that might be all-important with 2 minutes remaining in this game when Bristol Bears have barely been in it.
2 for the day for Gabriel Ibitoye, and 10 for the season now in the league.
Thank you.
Tackle. Can you use it, Bristol?
Owen McGinty smashed in the tackle, and racing onto it is Seabrook, but they've kept it alive, Bristol, and Lane is taking on Kemeny, feeding now Lango, and they're going to get another one here, but look at things. Marmion's in the clear, Pollock hunting him down, but Marmion is away, and Bristol finishing with something of a flourish amongst some tired bodies. Still the enterprise, still the adventure, and the gap closed, but only a minute left on the clock.
Rich Lane's such a good player, you know. So often he looks so good for Bristol. That came from nothing. Coast to coast, fantastic. You may as well have a go. Rich Lane does really well to isolate Hutchinson at 12. Gets around Kemeny, just can't match his pace. And then it's, in inverted commas, easy. The try's easy enough, but Rich Lane, I know there was nothing to lose, but that was nicely done, turning a 2-on-2 into a 2-on-1.
And the theme of these Bristol matches continues. Extraordinary scorelines. Scored 154 points in the last 4 games ahead of today. Conceded 162 in the same number of matches. Lane. To Lango.
Very nearly got him again on the outside break.
So a knock on just before the
Who's captain at the moment?
80 was hit, seemingly.
I had a call in my earpiece from the timekeeper saying your time. I thought he said forward pass. It wasn't, so it's a scrum Bristol ball.
They sound similar.
They sound just the same, don't they?
You were too close. Okay.
Feels like there might be an awful lot of players out there who'd be very happy to hear that final whistle after today. Covered some ground, this lot. Bristol with 5 tries. Northampton with 7. And Phil Dowson reflecting on a job broadly well done here by way of preparation for Dublin next weekend. Now Lango and Ravovo, brilliant off the deck. Williams is there, and still they move upfield, Bristol. And they got a penalty here. And a yellow card coming.
No.
There's no need for it, thank you. He's getting up.
Is that card?
I'll tell you what, that half break through the middle, was it Ravovo, and the offload was fabulous, that.
Number 15 traps on top, roll away.
Some highlight reel.
Yeah.
Cast our minds back to Ashton Gate and that no-look reverse offload.
Yeah, that was the one, wasn't it? That was the one.
Your mark, yeah.
Is there one more score here for the Bears? Even a converted try doesn't get them within losing bonus territory, of course, but it'll take some sort of sheen off the Saints scoreline. Williams to Ravovo, Ibitoye, and Bristol still full of running, seemingly. Litchfield with the tackle. It's going to be as important for Phil Dowson to see his men shut Bristol down here, you would think. Can't be allowing Leinster any sort of room for manoeuvre late on with a big lead. Luatua, Owen, he's very quick, Joe Owen. Snared brilliantly by Kemeny, and that will do it. Up goes the flag, and the match is Northampton's. Just about an ideal tune-up for the Champions Cup semi-final next weekend. They're in very good order. Bristol's playoff challenge, oof, looking like it's hanging by something of a thread given their form. For the third round running, they've looked pretty ragged. Interesting times for the Bears. Saints head into the Champions Cup. Northampton 48, Bristol 31 at full time.